Okay, so now we have created the copy of the well pollution table. Let's see if it is exactly as the original. Of course, we have the source ID, date, description, pollutant, biological, and then I guess results will be at the end exactly. So we have it. You have it perfectly created, and then we go in. So now that we have this done, we can go ahead and write or update the copy of the table created. Remember, we are not going to update in the original table, but rather the copy. And when we are satisfied, we can now do that particular exercise in the original. So let's go and look at it. So here you can see it says, so if we now run our query, update well pollution copy. So now, like I said, we are using the copy, not the original. And then set description bacteria to. So we are saying that the query goes into the system, put bacteria E. coli where under the description column there is clean bacteria E. coli. So that means that it is taking off the clean and then returning the bacteria E. coli. That's the first 1A, and then the second one is the 1B is going into the system, and where description is fitting this particular expression, we update it with this. And then the last one will be to update the records on where the results, where the biological is greater than 0.01 and results is showing clean. Meanwhile, the results is showing clean. That means that you have to actually return contaminated biological. So what this query will do is that in the table, wherever the biological score is greater than 0.01 and the results is showing clean, that will be updated with contaminated biological. The reason is that the guidelines of the survey, or the scientists have said that where they tested the water source and then they realized that the biological score is 0.01, above 0.01, that water source is termed as contaminated, and then they put what the contamination is. So that's why you have biological. So where the biological score is less than 0.01, we cannot regard it as contaminated, but rather clean. So we go into the system where you have the figure that is greater than 0.01 and the result is reading clean. We have to change the clean to contaminated biological. But if the result is reading contaminated biological or whatever, then we leave it as such. So that is what our query is going to do. So, and then it says put test query here to make sure you fix the errors. Okay, so let's see, let's go and run this first. So we have our first one. I will correct it and put the copy here so that we are referring to the copy of the table and not the original. So once I execute this query, I should be able to have a situation where the records, wow, there's an issue here. Is the issue? Okay, let me update this. And we have well pollution copy. Well, why am I getting an error? Okay, so the system is saying I'm using a safe mode, which I need to set to. Okay, so I have set this to 0. So remember, when you run a query that is updating or dropping anything from original database, the system kind of safe checks you to make sure that you know what you are doing. So by default, the safe update is set to no. There is yes and no. So the yes is 0 and then the no is 1. So when you run a query, when you are very sure the query is correct, especially when you are updating or dropping something from your database, you need to go and check whether you have executed this particular query to correct it before you come back. So let me do just that here. Okay, so I believe that by now, after this, my query should be able to work after I make this correction. So after executing that query at the top, it means that I've set the system to accept any update on my database. By default, it is set to no, but I've changed it to yes. So let me see if it works now. Correct. So now we can see that it has worked. It has updated that particular record, and it is done into the copy of the well pollution table. There's another one here. That's the second one. So we did for the bacteria E. coli. Let's also do for this. So I'll put underscore copy because I'm working on the copy, not the original. And once that is done, I can now execute it here. And then let me execute this as well. It's going. That is done. You can see from the action output panel that it is actually working. Then I come to the second one, which says you go into the system where biological is greater than 0.01, which means that it is contaminated by showing clean. Replace the clean with contaminated biological. So this is what we are going to do. That is exactly what we are going to do, but I will do it on the copy, not the original. Let's be very careful with that until we are satisfied with the results, and then we can now go ahead to do it. Okay, so I've effected the changes. I've effected the changes in the copy of our table. So if I come here, if I select, if I select all from my well pollution. Okay, so I'm looking at the copy. I can choose here and then enter pollution table, where we have what condition do we put? Okay, so let me just search for only this and see whether there are any issues with it at all. I'm not going to put any condition, and then see if there are any issues at all. Okay, so here we are. Let's remember and see if we can have, I'll search clean over here and see what happens. So all the clean results have to return a figure that is less than 0.01. We go and then come back in the next video.